$178. $163,863.
I've always been interested in finding a viable side hustle, and have watched countless videos on YouTube trying to find the perfect one. And one I was always interested in was furniture flipping. Or buying a piece of furniture for really cheap, sanding it, painting it, putting some new hardware on it, and selling it for a profit. So during 2020, I did this a lot and made some pretty decent money as a side hustle, which helped me out during the height of the pandemic. More recently, I've moved to a bigger city, and the thought hit me, I wonder how much money I can make if I flipped furniture again. Hi, my name is Cameron. As you can see, I am sitting in my garage, and there's a lot of furniture behind me. Why do I have so much furniture around me? Well, I'm in the process of buying a car, and I'm about to drop cold hard cash. And I thought, what's a good way to recoup a lot of that investment quickly? And I thought, Cameron, you refurbish furniture. Why don't you just go and refurbish a few pieces and make up some quick money? I thought, that's cool. And then a few pieces became more pieces. And now I have about 11 pieces in here that I'm planning to refurbish and flip for cold hard cash. And I want to show this journey, and I want to show you guys how much money you can make. There's so many people driving around in my apartment complex right now. It's crazy. But I want to show you guys how to flip furniture and how you can make money off this. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to bullshit. I'm going to show you exactly how much you can make. There's a guy literally staring directly at me right now. You're going to see if it's worth it and how much you can really make. So get ready. Let's do this. So first off, there's way too much furniture in here to work around. So it looks like I'll need to get a storage unit so I have enough space to move around and work in the garage. So I load my furniture pieces on top of 2 dollies, which I got off of Amazon for very cheap. Here's the exact one. Now everybody thinks you need 2 people to load furniture, and it's definitely easier if you have 2 people, but you could do it yourself if you push through the tiers and lift with your legs. All right, going into my storage unit, I got the smallest storage unit possible, which was a 5x7 for about $35 a month. And I just figured I'd stack the furniture on top of each other for maximum space. And also, this is literally all about making the most money off of a side hustle. I don't want to spend more money than I have to. So this is all my furniture in my storage unit stacked on top of each other. Let's close up, head back to the garage. Okay, on this first flip, I'll show you kind of what I do every time. I go to Facebook Marketplace, I type in dresser, and I look for something within the $50 range. I like this one, it has a lot of drawers, and it looks like a solid piece, and for 75 bucks, not bad. I pair it with this nightstand that I found that was in a set, which I got for $50, and I'm just gonna use the one nightstand with it and try to flip the whole thing for $550. So I'm taking off the hardware right now, just unscrewing the backs, and then the rest comes off. Doing the same for the nightstand. Here it is without any hardware on it. And what I'm gonna do here is write down the position of each drawer and place it on the back of the drawer. Because as we take these drawers out, I wanna remember in what spots they go in so there's no confusion when I'm trying to put everything back together. Here we go with the simple green, and we're just gonna wipe down our dresser, making sure everything's clean. Do the same with the drawers, just wiping it all down. All right, now it's time to sand. I got this on Amazon for like $35, and you're gonna wanna use a sponge cushion. I also got on Amazon. It just helps protect the furniture and make sure you don't like sand any corners down too much. And then I'm gonna put on 120 grit on my sander, and then we're just gonna sand the whole piece. And these are all the drawers after I've sanded them. This is the nightstand, all sanded. Sanded the top like especially hard. I did both the nightstands. Here is the dresser all sanded and ready to be painted. But first, the hardware that I had in my garage from another project doesn't match up with the holes in the drawer, so I'm gonna need to use this plastic wood filler and fill up one of the holes. We're only gonna need to fill up one of the holes because we could just use the other hole and drill a new hole to fit the handle. So I go in the front and the back, and once it's dry, I sand it down until it's smooth as All right, once it's sanded and fully smooth, we're gonna drill a new hole. And And we're gonna bust out the Reticate liquid wood in a light color. So crash course on this stuff. This stuff is gonna make your furniture look like a solid wood piece with wood grain finishes. This is my grain tool. So you're gonna see, I'm gonna use Reticate liquid wood in a dark color. Once my light color dries, I paint over it with the dark color and use my grain tool to create a grain sequence. If it doesn't turn out good, you could just paint back over it and use the grain tool again. Here I go on each drawer, and I'm only doing this on the drawer, and I'm planning to use a black color for the base. Here's my black color, Eclipse Black from Rust-Oleum. Got this cheap on Amazon, cheapest paint you could get, by the way. And you can see I'm trying to apply it with a brush, and I just hate this method, honestly. So what I end up doing is buying this Yatic, I don't even know, spray painter. It's the cheapest spray painter on the market. Amazon, baby. You're gonna mix that up, put some water in it. You're gonna mix it up to the right consistency. You'll see in the instructions, there's a speed of flow that you're supposed to get your paint to. So you're just gonna follow those instructions. All right, once you got about 2 to 3 coats down on your furniture, you're gonna see that it's nice and solid. Now it's time to seal it. So I mix my polyurethane in a matte finish with some water. Make sure the flow speed is correct. Mix in a little bit more water. Put it in the paint sprayer. We're gonna spray the dresser. We're gonna spray the nightstand and the drawers. And after a couple days of spraying sealer, we can put the hardware on it and put it all together. All right, and the final result. I was pretty satisfied with this. I thought it looked different with the wood grain up top. So I take some pictures and list it on Facebook Marketplace. I want to stress to you the top 3 things you should add in your listing when putting this on Facebook Marketplace. Number 1 being a good title. As you can see, I use the word modern a lot. I reuse that in so many things. I use adjectives a lot too, like stunning or beautiful. It's a simple thing, but it works. And if you're gonna wanna sell it quicker, I suggest offering delivery for $50 extra. It just works out much better that way, and most people will come and pick it up anyways. But in the off chance you have to deliver it, you deliver it close within your area and you get an extra 50 bucks. So I wanted $550 for this, but I noticed something very early on. Nobody wanted this as a set. Everybody just wanted just the dresser. And the other part of this is I'm trying to sell everything very quickly within 30 days. If you wanted to wait it out, I think you could do that and it would definitely sell, but I'm trying to do quick flips and make quick money. So I ended up selling the dresser for $350 and then taking that nightstand and pairing it with the other nightstand and trying to sell that in a separate set that you'll see later on. All right, so overall, I bought the dresser for $75 and I flipped it for $350. Moving on. Flip number 2. I bought these pieces off Facebook Marketplace for $75. So we're gonna take out all the hardware, take out all the drawers. Give this a nice cleaning. We're gonna once again use Simple Green to get all the dust and grease off of the dresser and the drawers. And we're gonna use wood filler to fill in any noticeable cracks. And then here at the bottom, I noticed that the wood was kind of bowed out. So what I did was drilled in a small hole and put a screw in it. And then I filled it up with some wood putty and then sanded it once it was dry. I'm gonna use some more wood filler to fill in any more noticeable cracks or dents in the wood. And then I'm gonna sand the rest of my project. All right, we're adding a flat black primer to just the top of the dresser because the top is veneer and it's very hard for paint to stick to just veneer, so this will be a nice base. We're adding the Reticate liquid wood onto each one of the drawers because they were each kind of like different shades and I just wanted to make them more cohesive. So we have the paint in the sprayer and we're just gonna spray down the dresser. And then we're gonna grab that Reticate liquid wood and we're gonna put it on the handles since the handles are also meant to look wood. But then we're also gonna put a dark gel stain over it to give it kind of a contrast against the light beige wood of the drawers. That's the final piece. And then instead of loading up the polyurethane inside of my spray gun, I used this clear, flat spray paint as a sealer and it worked pretty well. And then I painted my mirror, put the piece together, and this is the final look. I listed it for $400 and it ended up selling for $450 after they asked for delivery. So I tacked on the $50 fee. So we're gonna load it inside the SUV and I'm using some moving blankets to protect the furniture and some bungee cords. And as you can see, it's super packed in here, okay? But if you want it to work, you make it work. And oh my God, it worked. So overall, I bought this dresser set for $75 and flipped it for $400 plus $50 for the delivery fee, coming out to $450. Let's proceed. All right, flip number 3. What is that atrocious thing? I got this for free off of Facebook Marketplace. Somebody was just trying to get rid of it, so listed it, and I picked it up from their front yard. So it's a little beaten up and bruised and has weird paint splotches all over it. But I really liked the legs on it, and I figured, hey, this is for free. It has huge potential to make me money. There's a huge piece of drawer missing at the bottom, so we're gonna have to address that later. So we're gonna take all the hardware off of it, clean it up, and we're gonna sand that top. As you can see, that's veneer again, so I'm gonna have to do something about that. Probably put, you know, a coat of spray paint on that to have the paint stick to it. I'm gonna sand the rest of it. It had these like accent metal pieces that I was really not fond of, so I decided to take those off. And then I used a paint stripper to take off the rest of this paint. It was really like caked on there and I wasn't getting it with just sanding it. So I had to put on the paint stripper, wait till that dried, and then scrape off the rest of the paint in order to get it smooth. This took a long time, I'm not gonna lie. This sucked, but I felt like it was something I had to do because look at how beautiful those drawers are after. And then I use this flat gray primer to prime the parts that I'm gonna go over with my spray gun. Now you can see I don't wanna spray the legs, so I put some masking tape on it because I'm trying to make a design with those. I put even more stripper on the front of the legs to get the rest of the paint off it and bring it back to the natural wood. Then I'm using this Country Chic dark green chalk paint. Then I took off the masking tape to reveal the design that I was going for. All right, so clearly that wood doesn't match. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our liquid wood to paint this all the beige-ish color that we've come familiar with at this point. And this stuff dries really fast, so after I put on the beige color, I put on the dark color and then go over with my grain tool. And as you could see from the side view, it's pretty cool. It looks pretty good. Looks like real wood. Oh, now we gotta deal with this. Okay. Well, anyways, I bought this little like plywood piece. I cut it up, made it fit this, but then I was like, oh, I gotta make that little dovetail thing. So then I cut those pieces in and then used a hammer and some nails to just finish the job. So now we're gonna make a light wash for our wood pieces. So I'm gonna mix a light beige and a dark brown with some water and just put that over all the finished wood pieces, just because I want a lighter looking wood finish. Okay, so after we've applied our polyurethane to the whole piece, we put on our hardware and put it all together. Dude, this looks pretty sweet in comparison to what it looked like before. It was a disaster before. This looks awesome. I'm really proud of this piece. Honestly, it's my favorite. It didn't sell for the most, spoiler alert, but like, I think it turned out well. All right, so I listed this for $350 on Facebook Marketplace. It was up for about a week before I decided, okay, let me lower this a little bit. I lowered it to $300, and then eventually I lowered it to $250 and it sold immediately. Quick flip, quick money, let's keep it going. All right, so overall, I got this dresser for free and I flipped it and sold it for $250. On to the next one. Flip number 4. All right, so we got this big, nice long piece for $50 and I paired it with this nightstand I got for $20. I thought the legs kind of looked similar, so I would pair them up and try to sell them together. Which, just a note to the future, don't sell a single nightstand with the dresser, nobody wants that. Here I'm going to use my scraper tool to get all the paint off. Just scraping, applying a lot of pressure to the backside of the scraper. And I say, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to use the stripper actually with the scraper to get all the paint off. And you're definitely going to want to wear a mask if you're using stripper because that stuff is toxic. Now, as you can imagine, this is my absolute favorite part. It's not, that was a joke. This part sucks, but you know, it's fine. You can just listen to some cool music or a podcast or something and just scrape away, man. Scrape away. It is kind of fun. It is like, you get a lot of your frustration out. I hate it so much. And then you go in with your sander here, sand it all up. Dude, and look how much better that looks. Come on. Then we're gonna sand our dresser here. And then I primed it with white spray paint. And then we're gonna spray it with our spray gun with classic white milk paint. Get a couple coats on that. And then we're going in with our liquid wood on the top drawers. I like this look so much that I say, you know what, let's add it to the bottom. That'll be a cool little accent piece. So I paint the whole bottom part with liquid wood. So after that dries, we're gonna go in with our darker liquid wood and we're gonna make those grain patterns. You know the drill. I love doing this. I don't know why I got really addicted to this look, but I just recreated it kind of on every piece that I worked with. And now I'm doing the same thing for the bottom here, but instead of using the grain tool, I use this like fine comb thing that gives it just little lines. This is what the wood grains ended up looking like. I like it. It looks good, but I kind of want to lighten it like I did the last piece. So I make my light wash here. And then in this very blurry shot, you can see I'm applying it to the bottom of the piece and I'll apply it to the drawers as well. This is how it looks after the wash. So after we finish everything, put it together, this is the end result. I really was super satisfied with how this looked. This beat my last one for my favorite. This is now my favorite. I think the light wood grain looks really good against the classic white, and then the gold pieces just tie it all together. I ended up selling this piece and they paid for delivery, so my next mission was to get this inside the car. So initially I wanted around $550 for this, but over the course of a couple weeks, I realized, again, nobody wants a one nightstand, one dresser set. So in the honor of the quick flip, the 30-day quick flip, I decided to sell them separately. So I bought the dresser for $50 and ended up selling it alone for $300 plus $50 for delivery fee. So overall, $350. I bought the nightstand for $20 and ended up selling it for $50. Quick flips. All right, flip number 5. I bought this bulky red dresser for $50. And I don't know if you remember the nightstands from the very first flip that didn't sell, but I'm gonna try to add them to this dresser and sell it as a set. Hey, these legs, hideous. Let's get rid of them. And then we're gonna sand the whole thing, and this veneer is just coming right off. So there was a design here on the bottom of the drawer that needed to be filled, so I just ended up using some wood putty and shaping it to fit the design. So I spray the whole piece with a black primer. And what that black primer inadvertently did was show me all the cracks in my wood, so I ended up filling that with wood filler and then sanding it the next day. Here we got the original hardware, spray painted in vintage gold. And then we're gonna use our trusted liquid wood on a number of the drawers. I use this on all of them, dude. I guess I love this stuff. I noticed that the bottom is kind of like not modern looking, so I decide I'm gonna cut the piece in that. And also I'm trying to match this to fit the nightstands, which have a piece cut out in the bottom and some legs on it. Okay, we're gonna bust out those nightstands and start spraying them. And after our light color of liquid wood is done drying, we're gonna put on the dark color and then add our grains. And we're only doing this on 4 of the drawers, leaving the other drawers black. For this top piece, I noticed that the red color was really seeping through, so I decided to paint it white, so then I could put the liquid wood on top of it and there would be no red bleed through. And that's the wood grain look on top. It looks really good. I'm telling you, if you're a furniture flipper and you're not using Reticate liquid wood, you gotta start using it because it's really cool and you can stain it. All right, we're gonna put on a few layers of polyurethane and put on the hardware. Now this is everything together with the nightstands that I was talking about, and I'm gonna try to sell this all as one set. So I put it on Facebook Marketplace and I'm looking for something around the neighborhood of $500. So this ended up being one of those things where nobody wanted this as a set. They either wanted the nightstands or they wanted the dresser. So I ended up selling the nightstand separately and then selling the dresser. I bought the bulky red dresser for $50. After refurbishing it, I sold it for $300. The nightstands I ended up buying and selling separately, so I bought them for $50 and I ended up selling them for $200. So all in all, I made $500 off this piece, which was what I wanted. Flip number 6. So this tall dresser I got for $20, and then this nightstand I got for absolutely free because somebody threw it out in my apartment complex. I have some leftover hardware and look at that, it doesn't fit. So what I'm gonna have to do is drill new holes for that. And I hate this like skirt thing on the bottom, so I'm gonna have to get rid of that. So I just used my jigsaw to saw that off and then my sander to smooth it out. It looks much more modern and it matches the nightstand a lot better. So now I'm gonna sand the nightstand and the dresser. Starting with the nightstand. Putting a layer of white primer over everything. And then I'm gonna fill in cracks and gaps with wood filler all around the drawers. And I'm gonna fill in the holes for the handles because I'm gonna put new hardware on both the nightstand and the dresser. And we're going for a more unique design on this one, so we're gonna use that classic white milk paint for the top half of the dresser. And then I have to do some measuring to figure out exactly where the middle is of each drawer and to help me determine where I'm gonna drill the holes to fit the hardware. Now you wanna take your time on this because you want it fairly precise and like directly in the middle. So I'm just lining it up and I'm taking my time and I'm making sure all the measurements are right before drilling holes and putting in the hardware. All right, so we're gonna mask off the top from the bottom because we want the bottom to be a different color than the white color on the top. And on the bottom, we're gonna go with that dark green color, and we're gonna go dark green on the nightstand. Run. Turns out the hardware fit nicely, so time to put it all together. And this is what it looks like. Came out pretty good. I think once you get it into the light, you'll see that I made a few mistakes on it, but all in all, not bad. You'll see there's some streaks on it. I actually ran out of paint and I didn't want to buy another one because I'm super duper cheap. So I initially wanted like 300 out of this, but then after I realized like, hey, it doesn't look the best, I listed it for 200 and then I reduced it to 150 after a week and a half. So somebody wanted to buy it, but they also wanted delivery. So they ended up paying $200 after the $50 delivery fee. I bought the dresser for $20 and the nightstand was free. So overall cost was $20. And I ended up refurbishing it and selling it for $150 plus another $50 delivery fee for a total of $200. All right, last one. Flip number 7. So I got this dresser on Facebook Marketplace for $45. It's a nice solid piece and I really like the hardware on it. At the time of recording this, I didn't have the last 3 pieces of furniture sold, so instead of putting them back in the storage unit, I just kind of worked around them. And actually, because this is my last piece, I canceled the storage unit and just had everything in here and waited for it to sell. So we're gonna take the hardware off, and then I put some putty on the corner of this leg here and just sanded it off. We're getting ready to paint it. I prime it with white spray paint and then spray the original hardware gold. I go over the whole piece with my classic white chalk paint and leave the original wood untouched. I listed it for $200 and then ended up dropping it $50 and selling it for $150. So we bought the tall dresser for $45 and flipped it for $150. All right, the results are in. I know what you guys want. You guys want total profit, net profit, how much everything cost versus how much profit did I actually make in these 7 flips. And I think the results will kind of surprise you. But first, I want to give a quick plug to my company, Phantom Powered Media. Phantom Powered Media is a media and production company to help podcasters, entrepreneurs, and YouTubers with the production aspects of their content, including editing, copy, titling, strategy, short form video, long form video, audio production, and even more. If you're an entrepreneur, YouTuber, or a podcaster and are interested in having a personalized production company handle all of your online content, check out phantompoweredmedia.co and send us a message. Hope to hear from you soon. All right, enough's enough. Let's get to the profit. So adding up how much I sold for each piece of furniture, the grand total came out to, are you ready for this? $2,300 for 7 flips. Kind of 9 if you count the 2 nightstands and then the 1 nightstand sold separately. But for the purpose of this video, 7 flips for $2,300. Not bad. But I know what you're thinking, right? That's not net profit, Cameron. Get to the net profit. All right. So I added the cost of how much I spent on each piece of furniture. And after adding up all their costs together, I spent $385 buying used furniture. $385. All right, so let's get down to supplies cost. We spent a lot of money on paint. We spent a lot of money on sealer, on polyurethane. We spent some money on some handles and some new knobs. I had to buy my spray gun. And then everything else was supplies that I already had before this project. So total supplies spent was $465. So total cost after buying supplies and the furniture comes out to $850. So if we take our profit, $2,300, and subtract that by $850, our net profit comes out to $1,450 for 7 flips. So kind of interesting. It's not an exact math, obviously. Everybody's going to get different results. And I think I could have sold a lot of the pieces for more if I was down to wait a month and a half to 2 months. But for the purpose of this video, I wanted to flip everything quickly in a 30-day period. So is furniture flipping worth it? I really think that depends on if you think it's interesting. I think some people will find it worth it. I think other people will find it too time consuming. It's definitely not an easy side hustle, right? Like it's not something like you could just set up once and it continually makes you money. You have to keep looking for a flip, and then you have to put in the work and effort into making it look sellable. So it's a grind, but I do think it's worth it if you feel like you could get something out of it. But $2,300, I mean, that's pretty cool to say that I made that in a month just off of flipping furniture. So if you like this video and you got something from it, I encourage you to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, ask me any questions. I have a lot of video ideas on the way, not gonna be related to furniture flipping, just FYI, just videos in general. Just videos in general. Videos. We got a lot of videos. A lot. They're just going to be more creative, weird things that I like to do, weird challenges or whatever, stuff like that. But thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys later.